Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome back to another episode of CMPAC Spotlight. We are here in the studio tonight with Daris Elliott, who is the producer of GoodLife TV. I'm sure you guys have seen it, so let's get a chance to talk with him behind the scenes. Welcome, Daris.
Hey, how you doing, Don?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, and it's a pleasure to have you because I've been looking at some of the things you do, and I want to know a little bit more. I'm sure everybody else in the audience wants to know a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about GoodLife TV.
GoodLife TV. Oh, man.
Yes.
Well, to be honest with you, my nickname is Goodfella.
Heard about that?
I come from a radio background. I have over 20 years in the radio game.
Wow.
And GoodLife TV actually was a spinoff from my radio show that I had here in Charlotte. I don't want to give the station too much credit right now, but I am the creator of that particular program, and we were pretty successful, and it's just a spinoff. It was called the Good Life Radio Show. Shouts out to everyone that was a part of it, DJ Cars, DJ Big Haas, Forever, so many great people that I had a chance to work with on that platform, but it's just a spinoff from that platform. I actually started doing Access 21, just hosting another show prior to starting the Good Life TV show. It was called Takeover TV.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, with a guy named Eric. I think he ended up moving to Atlanta. Shouts out to Eric.
Wow, you know, there was someone else who has a show, Floyd Strother. He has the comic show, the comedian show, and he was saying that whoever got him involved, they moved on him, and of course left you guys to kind of hold down the fort.
It's all good. I can handle it, man. I appreciate Access 21 for every opportunity. I've been here for a while now, and I appreciate the support with Good Life TV. Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, what else you got for me?
Well, I tell you, you know, I watched the show, and you have a lot of music videos on there, and of course, doing your thing around town and anywhere else you travel. So how do you produce your show? What does it take?
So the whole concept behind it, as I mentioned, was more or less like, you know, to make it radio on TV, because again, I have the radio background. That's why I wanted to, you know, focus on the music videos, and I try my best and my hardest to incorporate a lot of the up and coming local artists from throughout the Carolinas, not just Charlotte, but throughout North and South Carolina. So it's more or less an outlet, you know, for the artists to get an opportunity for their, you know, videos to be seen, for their interviews, because I do the interviews with the artists. I also do my own events here in the city. So whenever I do my own events, I'll try to film that, put it on the show. And I just look at it like an outlet and an opportunity. And it's just another platform for artists, comedians, poets, you know, anybody in the city or within the Carolinas, as I mentioned, to, you know, kind of like showcase their talent.
Right. Well, when it comes to showcasing their talents, I've seen the professionally done music videos. Do you do those? Or
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am not going to take that credit. Shouts out to all the artists that, you know, are on the grind out here. They got their own, you know, filmographers and videographers and people that do that for them. But no, I don't do the actual filming and taping of the music videos. You know, that's their thing, so can't take that credit.
Gotcha. So do you like just advertise to them or just shout out to them on social media?
So I do mixtapes. I mean, I've been in the game, in this music game, you know, for a while here within the Carolinas. So, you know, I do like, they call them mix CDs or mixtapes. So, and you know, like I mentioned, being on the radio, if I have the opportunity to break a record, that was something that I, you know, took a lot of pride in doing. So that's just my focus, you know, to help them, you know, get out there, as you mentioned. But no, I don't film any videos. I'm a host. So, I mean, I feel like I can rock out a party with the best of them. That's what I do. I host events. I'm a promoter. I set everything up. I'm a businessman. So, you know, it's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes to set it up. Now, as far as like, I do put together my own show with the videos, with the interviews, all that good stuff with the events that I go to. And it's quite a task. It takes a while. That's why my show is bi-weekly, Saturday nights at 11, every other Saturday, right here, every first and third Saturday on Access 21.
Well, good plug in, good shout out. There you go. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Yes, and in terms of how you do it, I am interested to know if you also are an artist. Did you get into radio because you just, you wanted to do the grind? I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah, I actually was listening to some of my old music on the way over here. Shouts out to my cousin Tweezy over there.
Okay, yeah, he's in the studio.
But yeah, and shouts out to everybody out there on Facebook Live and watching this right now. But yeah, I mean, I started out doing music. Believe it or not, I got a little age on me, so I'm not going to reveal that right now. But
that's all right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was my passion.
Right.
With me doing music, my family doing music.
Right.
My dad was like over the hymn choir in church, so music was just like always in our family. My uncle played with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Really?
Yeah, man, like saxophone. So like we got a lot of music embedded and embedded in our family.
Absolutely. It sounds like it. Earth, Wind, and Fire, for those who don't know, you need to Google it. You need to pull it up on YouTube and check it out. I was just telling some others that I have interviewed, there were some young guys in the studio. And I was telling about some twins in Indiana who they're like 16, 17, and what they do on YouTube is they critique music from back in the day. And
That's nice.
It is nice. It really is, because you can hear how the music from way back when, or whatever, Motown and the 90s, whatever, kind of blends over into now when it's, they bite off of, or sample. People will know it as sampling.
Yeah, it's a lot of sampling going on. Sampling's been going on for a very long time.
For a long time.
And a lot of artists get sued for sampling if they don't get it cleared.
That's
so
right.
if y'all out there trying to sample some of them hits from some of them old school artists, y'all better get it cleared.
Exactly. Get it cleared. Well, you know about that because of radio. You know about that with dealing with all these artists. But going back to you as the artist, what do you do? What, do you rap? Do you?
Oh, me personally,
talk about
I used to. Again,
okay.
I'm not the music guy as of right now.
Okay.
I mean, my cousin, shouts out to Tweezy over there, he wanted us to release some new videos, honestly, of actually some older music that I consider hits. We got some stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. It depends on how much influencing he can continue to do. But right now I'm just focused on, the youngsters. It's so much youth out here.
That's
It's
true.
so much talent out here.
True.
I do my own podcast as well as this TV show with GoodLife TV. That's my concentration, is just to help, the youth. Yeah,
Right.
I always say hip hop is a young man's sport.
It's a young man's sport, really. Okay. Well,
Not to say that the old school cats can't do it, because they can.
Right.
But, I'm just being real. Like, at the end of the day, it's a young man's sport.
Yeah, well, I understand. I think I heard somebody say people trying to be, a rapper with a big chain hanging around your neck at 45 is just not cool.
You're right.
But, and I'm not,
But you could be 45, you ain't got to have a big chain, or you ain't got to have your pants hanging down your butt, and, doing all that.
Right. But
it's about your lyrics. It's about your style. It's about, the music at the end of the day. That's what it's all about.
Not about the big chains and trying to look. So let's talk about this music thing, okay? Because music is very influential. It really helps shape who you are.
Absolutely.
I've always said that, everyone has a soundtrack to their life.
Right.
And so talk to me a little bit about how you feel about that. What do you think music is doing right now to shape our communities, our youth?
I'm going to be honest with you, in my opinion.
Be honest.
I just feel like if we're talking about hip hop or R&B.
Anything.
Music overall, like urban music.
Because what I've seen, I saw some of the youth on your show, and they were doing their own video talking about they want a Rollie, and I'm thinking that's a Rolex. They just want a Rollie because the lyrics were talking about
that's a Rolex,
the bling,
definitely. Yeah.
Right? And they're talking about having the bling, and people put songs together, put lyrics together that may just rhyme and something that's fun.
Right.
But it sends a message.
Catchy. It can be catchy as well. Every message isn't a positive message. But you know, in my opinion, like hip hop is just like it's a quick way for our people to get money. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like getting drafted in the NFL or the NBA. You know, and I don't knock people at all for what they do. Just because I don't like it or you don't like it, you know, there might be some people out there that do like it.
Well, there definitely are. And we live in a country that's freedom of speech.
Right.
And so, and you know, that's what we do here. We always say, you know, this is a platform, our country is a platform where you can express yourself. And it's also a platform and a medium that influences.
Right.
So when you talk about the money thing, all right, versus putting something out there that is going to be influential. And I think I heard Common talking about this. A lot of what I'm feeling right now, I heard Common speak about his whole motive and perspective on putting out certain types of music. And I just wanted to find out what you were thinking about.
I mean, you know, of course, I would always like to tell you, you know, I would like to listen to people like Jay-Z and the Rick Rosses and the Jadakiss, artists that really have lyrics and can spit. That's what we call it.
Yeah,
when you can spit. When you have lyrics and it is meaningful, it has power. I don't really necessarily like a lot of the youngsters. Again, I don't knock them because I was young at one time and I listened to all the, you know, the Hot Boys was young when I came out.
Yeah,
you know,
let's talk about that. Who was hot when you were?
When I came up?
When you came up, the Hot Boys.
Well, I mean, of course, like, you know, Master P, the Hot Boys. I mean, I personally grew up off Snoop Dogg. I like Snoop Dogg.
Right.
So, you know, again, I'm a little older. I like Biggie, Tupac. But, you know, you have to be able to transition over the time and keep up with the trend and what's going on.
Right.
So, you know, today we listening to Future and Lil Baby and Da Baby, you know, so.
Yeah. And you still have references to the Tupacs, because Tupac had a lot of real deep things in his lyrics, in his rap, in his spitting. You know, he had a lot of socially conscious messages.
Right.
And do you feel like we have that now?
Yeah, we do.
Really? Okay, tell me about it.
I listen to people like J. Cole,
J. Cole?
Here from the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Listen to Kendrick Lamar. You know, people like that. So does it still exist? Yes, it does, but it's far and fetched. You're not going to get a lot of that because, again, hip hop has expanded.
Right.
Rap music has expanded. There are different lanes of the hip hop genre of music right now.
Right.
You have the drill music. You have the crunk music. You know, you have the lyrical guys. I mean, it's just buckets. So that's why I say it's a lane for everybody now.
Yeah, and when you were talking about coming up and how you were coming up, let's talk about when you were in high school, you know, kind of relate to some of these young guys out here who are now in high school. What was your way of expressing yourself? Did you go to talent shows or were you in talent shows?
Absolutely.
Did you do things in school? What was it about?
Absolutely. So my story was, of course, I didn't grow up saying, hey, I want to be a artist or a radio personality or a promoter. I mean, it was just in me. For some reason, of course, I used to like listen to Power 98 all the time growing up right here in Charlotte.
Right.
I never knew that I would work for them and be on the airways with them.
Okay.
I never knew that. I mean, it was like, it was God. So for me, it was more or less like the lifestyle. A lot of people say, I played basketball.
Okay.
I played at Hampton University. Like I played at Oak Hill Academy. Like
nice.
Like I'm an ex-basketball hooper. Like that was my life. That was the only thing that I dreamt of coming up. Okay. But it's a funny thing. Like a lot of rappers wanted to be ball players.
Wow.
And a lot of ball players wanted to be rappers. It's kind of like how it was coming up in my day, and it's still like that to this day.
Right. Well, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about Common again, because the interview that I heard on NPR, National Public Radio, was about how he's known probably more for acting, but he raps. He's into music.
It's crazy that you mentioned that, but look how many rappers ended up acting. You got Ice-T.
Yeah.
look at Ice Cube.
Right.
You got Common, as you mentioned. I mean, so many. Nicki Minaj is on the big screen now. I mean, the list goes on. Bow Wow. I don't know what happened to Bow Wow, but I'm just saying, like, so many artists. And that's, I think, Ludacris. Like, I think that's their motive. They want to get, because you can only sell so many albums, come up with so many songs, but, you know, I think you can make a lot more from being in a movie than you can, you know, making an album.
Well, you know, they go together because, you know, you have the soundtrack for the movies, for the films. And a lot of times when you're watching a film, you may hear like a snippet of the song. Right. But of course, it's always, the soundtrack is always available.
That's good promo, ain't it?
It is. It is, because it's always available. You know, and you mentioned Ludacris. I just saw an advertisement for him in a new movie with Queen Latifah, who was also a rapper.
I actually saw that movie. It's on Netflix right now. Okay. It's an awesome movie. Check it out.
But he's also going by Chris Hudson. It's not Ludacris anymore. So when we talk about musicians and people in the entertainment field who were in a certain genre or in a certain time in our society, they have evolved.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, and so they have to change. Whatever.
That's what it's about. It's about growth. It's about growth. Like I said, even with being into radio and then now being on television, on TV. Right. I mean, everybody want to grow. You don't want to be stagnant. Right. You know, you want to be able to, you know, wear more than one hat and be valuable. Right. It doesn't do anything but grow your value.
That's good. Well, speaking of growth, how do you plan to grow the show or other shows?
Well, for me, that's a great question. This COVID thing has messed a lot of people up, but it's given me a lot of time to think about new concepts, new ideas. There's so many new artists that I want to get with. Again, I don't just work with the artists. I deal with comedians, artists, actors, poets, you know, models, because I do fashion shows as well. Okay. I had to, again, going into the growth aspect, I had to realize, because I was doing a bunch of open mics. So I was like, you know, I got tired of just doing open mics. Right. Let me add some comedy into my open mic. Let me get some poets into the open mic. You know, let me do some fashion shows, you know, and stop calling them open mics and say it's a concert. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So you have to evolve, grow, and just, you gotta, you know, make it bigger than life itself. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Because if you don't think that if you just sit there and be stagnated, that's all you're gonna get out of it. Yeah. And I mean, things are always changing. So for me, you know, my thing is to meet new people, new artists out there. Email me your music, dariselliott@yahoo.com. I'm here. I am here to help poets, comedians, artists, models, whatever. Like, let's work together. It's about us as a community making it bigger. And we want to make sure that we make it clear to everyone out in the viewing audience, there's no charge. We don't do that here. Nope. You know, there's other platforms, and I'm sure you're on those other platforms where you do things out in the community to make money, because it's good to make money. I stress to people, this is bigger than radio. Yeah, yeah. Some people pay for radio interviews and pay to get their music played. Right. You can get your video played on GoodLife TV for free on Access 21. Free. It's a great tool. It's a great outlet. I love being a part of the team. And yeah, it's going to get bigger. Well, I'm glad you say that you like what you do, because I do want to know what you feel is the best thing about producing your show. It's your take on it. It's like me personally, I get to sit there and say, hey, I'm going to start out with shout outs on my show to begin with, or I'm going to start out with the video, or I'm going to start out with the artist performing, or a poet. It's just the creativeness, the creativity that you have. Like, the freedom and the creativity that I have. Right. And the access to this beautiful studio and these great people behind the camera. Shouts out to everybody that works here at 21. Thank you. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's amazing. It's a really amazing platform. Well, we appreciate that. And we also appreciate how you can go out in the community as well. You go out and you talk to people, and you're kind of like a scout, a talent scout.
and really bringing things to the table for people to see all over.
I do, and I really love it, Don. Like when I have
That's good.
artists in the building with a model, and then they can network to with each other, and then the next thing I know, this artist is doing a video shoot, and he has a model that was in my fashion show.
Wow.
You know, in his video, or he might have a poet in there, or vice versa. It's just it's a melting pot of network. It's just a network.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned before some of the artists that are from Charlotte or that are in Charlotte. I'm really amazed at how many of them are that we know about, let alone the ones that we don't know about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much talent here, and every day there's somebody else moving to Charlotte.
I know.
And it's like new artists. Like I asked somebody this the other day, I was like, how many artists do you think? Back in the day, we had MySpace, and you could see all these different artists in the city.
Right.
But now it's crazy because, like you mentioned, there's so many different avenues of streaming for these artists. But it's crazy.
Well, what happened to MySpace? Somebody bought it.
That's a good question.
That's a good question because it was a good idea.
I think what's his name?
It was a rapper, wasn't it?
No, Justin Timberlake.
That's him.
And I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I guess he was too busy. He couldn't keep up with it.
It must have been. I knew it was some entertainer. So Justin.
Yep.
Yeah, and it just kind of petered. But you're right. There's so many more platforms out there now.
Right. I mean, they could even do the TikTok thing. Come up with a little cool little dance. If it's catchy, boom, you done blew up now.
Well, the thing of it is all the social media platforms out there, you know, we know that there are pros and cons to everything.
Absolutely.
But the fact that you can pick up your phone and you can express yourself with the music that you're interested in, or do a little acting, little skits and whatnot, and get it out there to viewers is amazing.
It is. It is. Times have changed.
They have.
I remember cassette tapes.
Right.
And even before that, 8 tracks. Again, I'm not trying to go into my age, but these youngsters don't know nothing about 8 tracks or cassette tapes.
This is all good because I did have a guest before. Shout out to Senator Joyce Waddell. She has been on this platform, at this studio for a long time, and we had a stack of different formats on the desk of different tapes. And then, of course, evolving now to little SD cards and the digital wave.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's good that you have that.
You had your vinyl records up here?
She didn't bring those. Okay. We didn't have vinyl up here because she was basically showing how she had produced many shows that were on VHS. She may have even had a 3/4 inch.
Oh my goodness. That's old school.
That's old school, right. But you know, when you're in the industry, whether you used it or not, it's good to know what existed.
Right.
And then from whence we have come.
You're right.
Yeah. So on that note, how do you see technology changing what you're doing?
Technology is always going to change. It is always going to change. I'm a little bit old school, and it takes me some time, you know, to catch up, you know, because I still like, you know, the laptop with the DVD player on the side. Like I'm cool with that now.
Right.
Laptops don't even have the little DVD players on them. So like, yeah, I mean, but technology is always going to evolve. You have to be able to adapt. If you don't, you will be lost in the sauce.
Lost in the sauce. I forgot about that term. But you know, you keep saying I'm a little bit old school, but I think it's cool that you talk about, you know, when you grew up.
I'm not old school. I have the old school mentality.
Okay.
I'm mid-school. Put it that way. I'm middle school.
We're gonna find a new word. But Bruno Mars and what is his name? Pac. The guys, he's the Silk Sonic.
Okay.
So you see how they go back.
Well, I ain't that old school.
No, exactly. But the thing of it is, I was talking to another one of the producers here, Eric Cunningham. Shout out to Eric. He is old school, and he was saying that one of the songs that they do is just like what he grew up listening to by.
I think that's needed.
Confunction. Yes.
I really do. I feel like that's needed because, you know, we're missing that in music.
I agree.
We're missing that feel. It's a feeling. Music is nothing but a feeling. You know, it can make you feel sad. It can make you feel, hyped up, excited.
Right.
That's what music is. It's a feeling. That's why we all love music so much.
Yeah, well, it's a common denominator, you know, universal.
Yep.
It's universal. And that's why a lot of artists can go overseas and everybody knows the words, even if they don't speak the language.
Right.
They know the words.
Ain't that something?
It's something. And so speaking of that, before we have to wrap it up, how have you expanded beyond the borders of Charlotte?
Oh, wow. I've had the opportunity to film all over. Again, I do my shows, my events, my fashion shows, my comedy shows. So, I mean, anytime I'm able to do a show and film in Atlanta, Georgia, or Augusta, Georgia, or Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or
Florida. I heard you talk about going to Florida.
wherever. I love that because I'm in another city doing what I love to do.
Right.
And I will say this, a lot of times when you go to another city, you get more love.
Oh, why?
No, it's a unfortunate but a great thing at the same time.
Do you mean they give you more love based on seeing you on the show, or they're just embracing?
I think it's because you're something new.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. You get more love because, you're something new. You just might be a new vibe to that area, to that city. Plus, they might get tired of seeing the same people.
Well, that works too. But I am thinking about whenever I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, which everyone probably knows is considered Music City.
Absolutely.
And even the film industry being there was more like, we know about that. We're used to that. And it was what we call an industry town. So people weren't impressed with a lot of different things. What I noticed, I was not trying to be a wannabe. I had a job to do in video production, news production, and my mentality was, I have a job to do just like you have a job to do. But many people looked at a lot of new people as wannabes. And I think it really put a damper on how people received other people.
Well, what I think it is, Don, and just my quick opinion, I just feel like in our industry, sometimes it can be crabs in a bucket. I hate to say it like that, but instead of helping, people just protecting their neck, like Wu-Tang said, they protecting their job.
Their net. Wow. Yeah, well, I tell you what, you've done a good job in terms of going out there and getting those youth and speaking to people, and a good job here tonight. So I want to thank you.
Well, I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And again, everybody, just check out GoodLife TV every other Saturday, 11 p.m. right here on Access Channel 21. And hopefully we can do it again.
Yes, we will do it again. And I'm glad you gave the plug out again. And we'll see you next time right here on CMPAC Spotlight.